All right. How's it going, everyone? This is Logan Holzmeyer with 1584 Adventure. Got my great co host here, my dad. Go ahead
Yes.
and say hello.
Hello, everybody. This is Brian.
So, we got a great adventure we went on. Unfortunately, we went on this adventure in February. We kind of got behind on the podcast, but we're going to make it up for you, everyone, because we're going to do several of them probably this week. This one is about our Dinosaur Valley State Park adventure. On this is State Park, Dinosaur Valley. It's for Texas State Park. It's actually in Granbury, Texas.
Glen Rose.
Glen Rose. I was wrong. Glen Rose.
It's in Glen Rose, Texas. It's been there forever.
It's built by the OCC,
Yep.
not
When
OCC, CCC.
yeah, they found some fossilized dinosaur tracks there. I don't know, I guess back in the 30, 20, late
Yeah,
20s
something
or
like
30s.
that.
And as the river changes and the silt moves, they find more. They find new ones. I think they found a new species footprint a year or so ago. I don't
Okay.
know. But it's been there forever. It's a really nice park.
I went there once when I was in fourth grade for a school trip, and that's the only time I've been there. Dad's been there when he was little, I think.
Oh yeah, we went there 2 or 3 times when I was a kid, and then I think as a young adult I went a couple times too.
But the reason we chose Dinosaur Valley State Park is because it is the only place near us where we can actually go and camp rough style. We can actually hike in, we can set up hammocks, we can get as wild as we really can in a state park.
Yeah.
A lot of state parks around us do not allow hammocks due to harming of the trees. Uh, but this was pretty good. I actually decided to do this, and Dad's like, "Hey, I need to do this as well. We need to do some testing for our river trip that's upcoming."
Yes, we had a bunch of new gear, and I am finally past the age of oh the heck with it, throw it in the boat, we'll go figure it out on the fly.
Which is pretty good, especially because we both have had hammocks for several years, but a lot of the places we go don't have trees to hammock camp.
No.
I mean, we're in deserts, on the beach, we got nothing, or we're just already in a hotel.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that's a pretty good intro.
Yeah.
So, Dad, let's go over prep. Now, I'll just say, looking into this, watching several YouTube videos, a lot of people buy hiking backpacks. I actually have a canoe barrel backpack. It's a little bit strange when people see it because it is a 60-liter blue plastic food grade barrel that I have a harness for, and it's mainly for canoeing.
Yeah.
My thought process was, if I'm going to do this for a canoe trip, I might as well learn how to portage. The barrel itself weighed about 10 pounds. Now let's compare that to Dad's bag.
So I have a hunting backpack that's more of a day pack. It's got a bladder and several compartments, but it's not set up for backpacking.
Not hiking, you can't get, someone probably could, but we couldn't on this trip.
Yeah. So, but I also have gecko dry top bags that go in the boat or in the rest of, you can't say enough good stuff about them. I love them. And mine is a 45 liter.
Yours is right there around 50. It's either 45. There's really no 47, but I'd say 45, 50 maybe.
Yeah. It holds a bunch of stuff. It holds everything that you want to carry, and it's bounced around with me for the last decade.
And it has the best shoulder straps I've seen.
And it has shoulder straps with a chest buckle and a waist buckle.
Yes.
And so I can use that, and
it might weigh a pound, maybe 2.
It probably weighs 2 pounds. The heavy one weighs 2 pounds.
Okay.
I've got a lighter weight one, and it's completely waterproof. I mean, it will float, and unless you have it overloaded where you can't roll it, if you can get 1.5 turns on it, it's waterproof.
So, like we mentioned earlier in the intro, this is kind of planning for a canoe trip. So, both my barrel, like if I was to go over in a canoe, I could grab onto it, and and probably get myself upright enough to where I can hold on to it while going down a rushing river.
Yeah.
But both were waterproof. Both were good. That backpack was really good.
Oh, yeah, it fit everything you needed.
You had to put.
We just did an overnight trip. It was just one night. We hiked in that afternoon and set up camp, spent the night, and tested some of the other gear we had.
So for stoves, Dad, what stove did you bring?
I've got one of the little fold-up rocket stoves.
I think it's a MSR brand.
Yeah, I think so. I've had it for several years, and it pretty much stays in the truck with me 24/7 because I've got a little stand. It all fits into a little Stanley pot with 2 cups, and then you can screw a butane or propane cylinder to the bottom of it.
Yes.
And wherever I'm at, I can make coffee.
I went a slightly different route. I do have a isobutane stove. I did bring it with me as a backup, though. I also have an alcohol stove. And I really wanted a trip to be able to use the alcohol stove. I brought it. I have an alcohol fuel bottle. And it would have worked had I had more alcohol. I did not bring enough alcohol for it. But luckily I brought my spare, so I was able to put that on. We really could have brought one stove.
We really could have. We could have gotten away with that, yeah.
But I also brought actually my mother's Stanley pot, which is exactly the same as Dad's. That worked perfectly. I probably won't buy a Stanley pot because it's not something I will need very often. But I will probably bring my percolator next time, that aluminum one you gave me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can put everything in it. Especially with, I think I can get the small isobutane since I don't make coffee.
Yeah.
So what food did we bring?
So I sat down and ordered some freeze-dried, I won't say the name brand, but backpacking food. I had red beans and rice.
I had red beans and rice.
Oh, okay. So
you had beef stroganoff or something?
Yeah, I had the beef stroganoff one. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I mean, it's not something, in hindsight, looking at it, it wasn't, So I could have made red beans and rice, put it in a vacuum seal bag, vacuumed it up, and wrapped it, kept it in the ice chest until we got there, wrapped it in a towel and kept it in my backpack amongst the stuff. It kept it just fine.
So I had red beans and rice, and I'm not sure if I just got a bad one or something because I couldn't get it cooked right to where it wasn't crunchy. And it's not supposed to be crunchy like that.
No.
We did learn that we need to try that food at the house first.
Yes.
I'll just say we had some digestive issues.
Yes.
I think next time, especially for night trips or maybe 2 night trips, do something like you're talking about with, like I might make some mac and cheese and some ham and then put it in a vacuum sealed pot or a bag and do that instead. Just because I know I like that. I like that in the field. It's carb loaded.
Well, I will say, watching it a little bit and exploring and checking on it, I think one thing, your water, when you're boiling water to pour in there, has to be an absolute rolling boil, not bubbly, not steamy.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, and then you need to let it set for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Come back halfway through, stir it, put it down, and walk off and go do something else. But we were hungry. We're excited. We're having fun trying new stuff. So,
we both got new camp chairs. We both got packable, lightweight camp chairs.
Yep.
Dad got the ultra lightweight one, which came in at like 1.4 pounds.
1.4, 1.7. I forget which one it is.
Mine came in at 2 pounds. Mine was like $30 at Walmart.
I think mine was 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I am absolutely impressed with them. I'm keeping it in the truck from now on. And you had to, due to having a smaller bag than me, You had to strap yours to their backpack, didn't
Yeah,
you?
but I just strapped it to the top of the backpack, and it came in its own little bag. It was great for those of us that are older and perhaps stiffer. Uh, be prepared to roll out of it instead of get up out of it, but it wasn't bad at all.
So we both have hammocks.
Yep.
I'm not sure what my brand was. It's one my mother gave me, I don't know, 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, Mama gave us all those hammocks at the same time.
And I will say, mine needed the straps on mine that you wrap around the tree. Would buy different ones if I was going to keep using that hammock.
Yeah, I would say so. Yours was a little less adjustable than
Yeah,
mine was.
Dad's was a lot more utilitarian, and mine was, yeah, you can probably do it. You got to spend another hour figuring out or finding the right trees.
Yeah, I would say in a hardwood forest or somewhere with bigger, taller trees, yours would have been a lot easier to set up. But in a cedar break where,
yeah,
but so, it was okay. I mean,
it worked out. Dad gave me one of his straps so I could adjust it.
Yes,
and I gave Dad one of mine. Dad had some interesting experience with that.
Yeah, I mean,
he the strap, the way it worked is you wrapped it around the tree, but about halfway through in the night, I think I actually heard it just kind of start slipping a little bit and pulling back, and Dad he started dripping more and more to the ground.
Yeah, it didn't choke up on the tree quite tight enough.
Okay.
It wasn't bad, but I ended up with the foot end of my hammock about a foot lower than the head end of my hammock, so I was drifting and having a nylon taffeta sleeping bag. It was slip sliding pretty good.
Well, that's a good segue there. What sleeping bag did you bring?
Me being pretty hot natured and liking to sleep cold.
Actually, we're both that way.
I took like a 50-degree nylon taffeta $9 Wally World sleeping bag.
Yeah, because you had the big poofy one, right? Or did you have a different one?
No, this one is a little mummy style one.
Oh yeah.
And it was just fine. That, and I carry, I had a top sheet or a top blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And I generally carry one of them no matter where I go. And the lower half of me stayed in the sleeping bag, and I covered up with the blanket, and I had my pillow, which is of utmost importance. But I slept really good in the hammock. We had rain flies over us. Yep. I have a Wise Owl brand rain fly.
We both ended up buying the same one by accident.
And it kept all the dew off of us. It kept leaves and stuff from dropping on me.
So I'll just go over my sleeping bag. I have a Stansport fleece sleeping bag liner, which is rated to 50 degrees. And the way the rating works is you will not die at that rating.
Yeah.
That you won't be comfortable, but I will say, because I took it on the tuna trip, it is very, very comfortable. I also included a bed sheet in it, and I had picked a $5 camp pillow, a backpackable pillow from Walmart, and I had a fleece throw blanket. Looking back for that weekend, all I needed was a blanket because it really wasn't cold.
No, it wasn't cold. It probably got down to,
and I just had a bit too much going on.
Yeah.
Which kind of ended up why I fell out of the hammock. I got trying to get everything situated. First time I'm in a hammock. I've already laid in it several times, but now I'm trying to get my blankets and all that in, and I just got a little bit too far over, and I fell through my mosquito net. So it was a good thing it was chilly enough the mosquitoes weren't flying.
Yeah.
So, but I will either end up buying a new hammock because I'm probably going to get a double because I'm a little bit on the larger side, so I probably need one. Or I will buy a mosquito net, or Dad bought a mosquito net.
Yeah, my hammock. So my wife gave me and the boys these hammocks, and I've had it out, looked at it, but like Logan said, we don't have trees here that we can support it from. and hadn't, but it's bounced around. So mine had a built-in, just like Logan's did, mosquito net. Did not know that, so I bought a mosquito net.
Yep. And it was not advertised on the outside.
No.
But so I brought a 1 gallon collapsible water jug, and the original plan was we were just hike up the mountain, hike back down, fill it up after we got camp set up. Kind of glad we didn't do that.
Yep.
I'm actually really glad we didn't do that, because the hike, we'll go over the hike in a little bit. Dad, what did you buy?
I have, what's the brand name on it? I bought a water filtration unit a few months ago, anticipating this canoe trip we're going on, or float trip. And I forget which one. It has a bladder. You screw basically what looks like a life straw, a larger life straw, to the bottom of the bladder.
It's not life straw, but it is very similar.
Yeah.
It's basic operation similar.
Yeah. And then you can gravity feed it, and it will feed into a clean water container. Or you can turn the little valve off, and it just sits there until you have clean water on demand. It works pretty good. The area where we're at is a Texas Hill Country area, so there's not a lot of topsoil. And when there is water in the creeks and it's moving, it's still pretty clear.
Yeah. Interesting thing about that filter is you can actually screw it onto a the smart water.
A smart water bottle.
Yeah, the big water bottles, or a Coke bottle. So you don't need the bladder if you're going to go on a long hiking trip.
No.
But it's very convenient. We set it 20 feet away from camp. And if we needed water, we walked over and get that.
Yeah. And it's a 3-liter bladder, I think.
Okay. Yeah,
2 or 3 liter bladder.
I could see that. Segue into that is water containers. What did we take?
Let's see.
You had a smart water bottle. No, you had your black ones.
Yes, I have some. I buy them when I'm traveling. It's just a black aluminum water, and it, I forget what brand it is. But they're half liter. They have a 16 ounce, a half liter, and then I forget.
Yeah.
But I buy them and I refill them 3 or 4 times sometimes, and throw them into my ice box back, or put
very
them in
reusable. They're awesome, and they're strong.
Yeah. And yeah, I know they have a plastic liner on the inside, but I'm not throwing away 6 water bottles a day either.
For that, I kind of went a different route. I was actually intending to take the big 1 liter quart flask with me. Luckily, I did not take that. I have my prep bag, my bug out bag for tornadoes, and inside it, I had 2 collapsible water bottles. Both hold a quart, and on a whim, I said, okay, let's do that. I filled them up here with filtered water at the house. I put 1 in my barrel, and I clipped 1 to the outside because I have carabiners. And I will say, walking up the mountain, that was a lifesaver. Being able to just get some real quickly. And your filter system came with one.
It came with one too, and it was pretty nice going out.
Yeah.
I had burned through all the clean water. We were on filtered water, and it was fine. But some flavoring tabs would have made it a lot more pleasant.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I actually drank, because I had 2 quarts of water, and I cooked with the filtered water.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't taste it ever.
No, cooking with it.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. But if you're just going to go over there and fill your cup with water out of it, it still had an earthy taste to it.
So,
but
I brought a hatchet just in case we need to set some tent stakes.
Yeah.
Also brought some tent stakes.
Yeah, I had some tent stakes in there. The one thing we could have brought was each of us brought another 50 foot of string or light rope.
Which we actually found a brand new package of paracord, 50-foot paracord, I don't know, 100 feet from the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it really for overall gear and prep. Do you remember anything else?
No, we were, everything worked pretty good.
It got a little spooky because everything was going a little bit too well at the
I
beginning.
was kind of waiting for the wheel of corn dog to roll around. And
one thing on when I booked the original booking, the reason I chose Dinosaur Valley State Park is because of some YouTube videos. I had a hard time finding videos that told me which one to use if you want to do hammock camping, which campsite. The first one I chose, we could not have done it because it was that first one where there was all those tents.
Yeah.
The second one we probably could have made work.
Yep.
But the third campsite number 3 in their primitive area, was perfect. It is the hammock camping spot of the campsites we saw.
Yeah. It is a 400-foot elevation change.
Yeah. So we're going to go over the hike now. So the hike, we traced it on the map, is about 1.5 miles. And normally in a dry year, you should only have to cross water once.
And not much water.
Yeah. Just that first part. Yeah. And this is Paluxy. Is that part of the Paluxy, or is that Paluxy. A creek? Okay.
I think that's Paluxy.
So it's a Paluxy River, runs right through. And to go from the parking lot to the other side of the river, you got to walk through the river. Not a problem. We both had water shoes.
Yep.
But there was another spot on the map, and due to the way the trail coloring, it was hard to see this creek that was alongside the trail marker on the map. And guess what? That creek went the entire trail.
It is normally probably a wet weather only creek.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of the pools hold water. A month from now in June, it's probably not going to have much water.
Yeah.
Luckily it did, because it meant we could walk down there with a bladder and fill my bladder at a place where a pool was created. But
so I wore some Magellan sandals I got from Academy, and that's all I wore, because I was like, hey, it looks like there's another crossing. It's wet. Let's just get to that crossing. Then we got to that crossing and it was still wet. So I just wore my wet shoes all the way up.
Yeah.
And I was very comfortable in those.
And I wore my Columbia low-rise hikers until we got to the first creek crossing. Because I kind of thought, okay, I know it's a creek crossing, and we've had a wet year, but surely someone has stacked rocks across this thing where I can step. Like, no, it was upper shin deep.
Yes.
So I had to peel out of my shoes and socks, roll my britches up, because I like to wear long pants when I'm out, and then put my water shoes on, which were some cheap $9 Academy brand, but I keep them in a truck for that kind of thing.
I got lucky. I sprang for the $19 one.
And then wore those. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was inconvenient, but it wasn't bad.
I only had... There's a bunch of people there, not a whole lot of people all the way up the trail, but at the first trail marker crossing that river, I had a couple come out, and the woman was obviously not limited ability, but had trouble navigating rough terrain. And they beelined it in a straight line for me. So I had to stop in the middle of the river, walk 5 feet to the right. Not a big deal, but I had to go deeper into the pool.
Yep.
I think I got all the way up to thigh deep.
Yeah.
And that's the only problem I had, period, with anyone on the trail.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody was great. And they just needed to take the easiest route for her.
Yeah. I would have preferred they waited till I was out.
The water was flowing probably more than they thought it was.
Yeah. I would have just preferred that they waited a single minute, but it is what it is. Not a big deal. So entire hike was rocky.
Yeah. I mean, you're walking a limestone.
Yeah. Which was really
creek
nice.
Bottom or trail.
There was only that one area between campsite 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Where it had loose rock where it kind of got, and we're stepping up. But then we got up to camp. Why don't you talk us over camp?
So we got up to the camp and figured out we were in the right spot. It wasn't super well marked, But once we saw the marker and figured it out, it really was, and it had been cleaned out. They keep the camp areas kind of free of brush.
Yes.
Trees are trimmed up about 6 or 8 foot high. It's in Texas hill country, so it's all cedars.
Cedar.
And or junipers. They're actually junipers.
Yeah.
And it was actually pretty good. I mean,
so the reason we say we passed 2 other camps. One was long in the open.
Yep.
Great for tent camping. The second one was actually right by the creek.
Yep.
Would have been awesome to get water from that. But I think we could have made it work with the hammocks. We probably could have found 1 or 2 trees to do it with the hammocks, but But the third campsite was perfect for the hammocks because there was 4 trees.
Yeah.
3 in a straight line, all about 8 foot apart. And then the 4th tree was at 90 degrees to one of the other trees.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, 8 foot apart. Dad and I, 90 degrees to each other. One tree as our center post. And it was, 18 inches?
Yeah, the biggest tree, we hung both hammocks from that one, angled apart, and then pushed or hooked the other ends to smaller trees. And it was fine. I mean, mine didn't even bounce. I was kind of worried a little bit in the beginning, like, okay, this tree's going to start bending and all, but it didn't. And there was a couple, if we'd had other people in our group, we probably could have hung 3 more hammocks around the entire of the cleared out camp area.
Yeah. And we even with 3 more hammocks up, we would have had an area for more tents.
Yeah.
It was, I really like the campsite. Yes. I intend to go back there. Not now, not in the near future.
No.
It's getting warm.
Yeah. Not unless someone wants to hump my icy breeze up there.
That's up to you. You got to find that person.
Yeah.
But campsite was nice and open. You could see the stars if you wanted to go up there and stargaze.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have campfires up there.
Someone had a campfire in the past. We did not.
But they were smart enough to have rocks around it.
And
but
it's at the back end of the park too. I mean,
yeah, we were under 100 yards to the fence.
Yeah.
Because the next campsite would have been around the corner.
Yes. And had a fox come visit us.
The fox was awesome. He like, I'm a fox. I'm going to walk through here. They can't see me.
He hung out for a couple minutes and then went on about his business. We didn't set up any cameras or anything at night. So
yeah, we did real simple camping on this. We just set up the hammocks.
Yep.
I was kind of lucky because with my barrel, I have my own little table.
Yep.
We set up chairs. We hung the water and my red beans and rice. Like I said, I couldn't get it to cook right. And I ate about a third of it and I couldn't eat anymore because I could feel it already. So I set it, 30 feet away from camp. I sealed up the bag. And it was fine. Fox didn't even come back and get it. That was the most surprising part of the trip, in my opinion.
I expected him to come back and snack on some stuff, but all in all the equipment that we had not used before worked out well. The equipment we'd used before, we knew it was okay. I think other than the food thing for this float trip, which because we're both in canoes and we'll have ice chests.
Yeah,
there's not going to be any real need for freeze-dried foods.
Yeah. So I think I'll ask the next question, even though you just answered it. Were we prepared?
Oh, yeah. I think we were extremely well prepared.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how prepared were we?
9.
9.
A solid 9. 9.5.
I definitely agree with that. There's nothing I can look at and say, we could have done this better without prior knowledge. Only reason we could say that now is because we've done it once.
Yeah, because it's hindsight.
Yeah.
No, I mean, really.
But I enjoyed the entire trip.
Yeah.
The hike was fine. It was easy. It was a moderate hike, in my opinion, for a beginner.
What is it, 3 miles?
a mile and a half
Okay.
up, but
So
you're
it's 3 miles round trip.
yeah.
Okay.
But you are gaining elevation.
Yes.
The people in the hiking community understand that there's a difference between 3 miles on flat land, 3 miles of gaining elevation. It's like West Coast hikers and East Coast hikers.
Yeah.
East Coast is actually harder because your elevation is so much longer.
Oh, okay.
Instead of quicker.
Yes, and even the elevation change wasn't bad till the last.
We climbed 10 feet and within 10 feet in one section. That was it. That was the worst
That was the
elevation
worst
change.
spot. I mean, but really, like I said, it might not have been 400 feet, but it might have been 300 feet from the last creek bottom because we were on top of the hill, which is not that big a deal either. I mean, I had a hike, I carried my hiking stick.
That was a thing that was dinging me earlier. How'd your hiking stick do?
So it's actually really good. I've been using it several times. I bought it, and it's actually a weighting staff.
Okay.
So, but it comes with a mud cup on it or a rock point. You pull a little cap off, and it's got a carbide point, so I can bite into a rock.
So it helped.
It does help.
Okay, good. Because I've always seen people with walking sticks. I'm like, why? But I've never had anyone just explain it.
So once again, when you get a little older and a little stiffer, and your balance is not quite as good as it was when at your age,
yeah,
it's pretty reassuring. Now, would I do 2 walking sticks, the hiking sticks like your mom, like I got mom?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for that yet, but I know guys that have done hiking trails in East Texas that did the 4 or 5 day trail, and he's like, and he absolutely says it makes a complete difference over the course of a couple of days.
Okay.
It just helps you move along better, and I have no reason to doubt him. So,
yeah.
I've used this. Mine is a Frog Togs brand. I'm a big Frog Togs guy. I ordered it off Amazon at the start of sand bass season because waiting on the slippery limestone rocks around here,
yes,
I wanted a little more balance. But I started using it hiking in and out. I mean, it's a 1.5 mile hike into the river where I was going.
Yeah.
And it just, and it's lowland river terrain. You got to cross some little gullies and up and down a little hill, nothing big. It just made life a lot easier. And when you're on that slippery clay mud,
yeah,
it may, when you've got $600 worth of fly rods strapped to your back, you don't want to tumble. And I've tumbled once already this year, and it was a lot of not fun.
Like keeping insurance on your car. It's just nice to have.
Yeah.
So, my only negative for me was the canoe barrel, which I've already stated I did it just because that's what I'm going to use in the canoe trip. It was not bad. It added 10 pounds to my overall weight. I think I kept my back right at 40 pounds. Yours was right at 32.
Yeah, I had 32 pounds.
Okay. So we're looking at an 8-pound difference. I had a little less things than you, I think. Because you brought the mosquito net along with you.
I had mosquito net, a thermocell.
We both had thermocells, which was we didn't need, but just
it's nice to have.
Texas.
And I had another 3-pound item in there too.
Yeah. If I was going to do it again, I would probably spring for a hiking backpack. Just for me, just the cheap one at Walmart, just to get that weight a little bit less. And it's a little awkward on the just the maneuvering because you got a lot of weight and it's far back.
Yeah.
But overall, it wasn't bad at all, even with the canoe barrel.
No, you did good with it. I could see at some time the moment point on it giving you struggled a couple times, or you didn't struggle. You could see, but you could see it was going on.
Yeah, you could see my balance get a little off or something.
Yeah.
And that was mainly just walking down the mountain.
Yeah.
A flat land, I don't think it'd be really much of a problem, but it did have some advantages. It did give me a table if I wanted it.
Yeah, I can see that.
If it fell, nothing was going to get damaged.
No.
So if anyone's out here, here's a good product: an ultra lightweight camping barrel. Get that thing to 5 pounds, and I'll just use it.
Oh yeah, I still.
Or I'd buy a gecko bag, because your gecko bag it looked like it worked really well.
I can't say enough good about it. I mean, I've carried this one. I've carried stuff all over. It's made it through baggage claims.
You drove it. We took a trip down to the coast one time, and it rained the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I throw it. You know, I've got a topper on my truck, but if you don't, I've thrown them in the bed of the truck, and they just, you know, they're big enough you can get a week's worth of clothes in it. I mean, I carried it to New York a couple of years ago on a sea duck hunt, and it made, you know, waders in it and all my cold weather gear, and it was basically really just full of cold weather hunting gear.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean,
well,
I'd like to have one the next size up, but I don't want to carry one the next size up anymore.
The only other thing I will not be using the alcohol stove anymore. I have 2 stoves. I have isobutane stove. Can't say it's perfect, really. It's a 10 out of 10. And I also have a white gas stove. I've got to do some maintenance on to get it to work again. Those 2 stoves will be my future stoves for backpacking or just solo adventuring. The alcohol stove, I'm probably going to throw it in the trash because I don't need it. I got like $3 on Amazon because a special sell.
Yeah.
So I think we did a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think so.
I'd almost say we did a 10, but I don't want to put that on us.
Well,
I don't want that
I would
juju.
say it was a 10 other than watching you roll backwards out of your hammock.
Yeah. So what would you buy next time to do this same exact trip? What would you do different?
The only thing I would do different would be different foods.
Okay.
You know, I'm glad we did it because now we know. And for an overnight trip like this, instead of buying the freeze dried backpacking foods, like I said, I'd probably, I don't know, maybe freeze some sausages.
The sausage would be okay
in a towel, and use my little ultralight skillet that I've got to cook some sausage, and you know, no more than it weighs. Buy a can of beans and rice.
Yep.
Empty the can out here at the house. Just vacuum seal it, and
that's kind of what. Like, I kind of want to try getting one of those vacuum sealed tumblers for food, the food grade ones. I want to fill it full of mac and cheese and ham because I love that. Just make it that morning. Well, we actually left at 12 o'clock because I had something to do that morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think I would do because it'd be warm by the time we ate.
Well,
so
if you froze it, if you freeze stuff like that for years and years and years, when I was young, we take sandwiches fishing or hunting or camping, and, you know, and it didn't matter. I mean, if you got, say you wanted a steak.
Yeah.
Go buy you one of these little steaks, put it in a Ziploc bag, get all the air out of it, freeze the snot out of it 2 days before, wrap it in a towel, or wrap it in tinfoil and then wrap it in a towel, or put it in your sock or in your sleeping bag in your bag. It's probably still going to be froze 6 or 8 hours later.
Yeah.
That's really pretty much it. I mean, that's it. We did really good. My little stove, like I said, I've had it for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we've already said we've done perfect on this.
Yeah, we need to quit beating a dead horse here.
So that's it. Like I said, next year, late winter, early spring, I might do some more primitive camping up there.
Yep.
I won't do any of that during hunting season because it's hunting season.
Well, while it's not primitive, if we get some birds and have water this year, we may need to think about doing a 3-day camping trip
over there on the lake,
or up in the river at one of the organized campgrounds.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Maybe set up tents.
I'm on board with that, especially this year because we'll have my boat.
Yeah.
So we will. That's something I intend to do this year, especially because with my line of work now,
Yes.
I'll have time in the winter to do that if I want to. So, Dad, what's your next adventure?
Next adventure is probably going to be, if I can get things squared away in the next week, I'm going to go up and fish the new lake at Bodark Lake in Fannin County. Got the skeeter up and going. Everything seems to be sorted out with it. I need 3 days in the middle of the week because I ain't going on a weekend.
Nope. Okay, I'm going to do Bodark Lake.
Yep.
Take all your cameras, get as much footage as possible.
Yep.
We have a trip with the Keatons again.
Yep.
Coming up and actually technically the second weekend of June. We're going down to Port Mansfield in Texas.
Yep.
We're spending 4 days with
4
them?
days. Your brother's boat is going to have his boat. We may have another boat depending on how things are and all. Could be redfish and speckled trout. And I don't know I think Keaton wants to, but I don't know if we're going to have enough time to do a beach trip.
I don't think we can go to Penn's.
No.
It's just a little bit far and rushed.
Yeah, because that needs to be a 2-vehicle trip.
Yes.
And it's 60 miles down the beach.
Yeah.
So, but we might do a short beach trip.
If I can swing it,
I might do a short beach trip after y'all leave.
Late July, maybe August, I might do a trip down to Penn's. But I don't know for certain just yet.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those 2 or 3 day trips, run down there, see how it is, have fun. Or I might just go back up to Freeport and have fun.
Yeah.
Where I know I can catch fish, know everything there.
Yeah. I've kind of got the urge to go to Maddie, but I don't know how to squeeze it in.
I'm kind of with you.
I had last week at work worked out different. I'd been leaving today to go to Corpus to jump on a 56-hour tuna trip. But
which actually, we are going to do another podcast for sure this week, maybe 2. And the next podcast, though, is going to be over our 56-hour tuna trip that we took.
At the end of November.
The end of November, or was it?
It was the last week of November,
okay.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because we had to reschedule it.
Yeah.
And we're going to go over that. And
there's not a lot of information out there for people that have not been on tuna boats.
Okay.
I want to cover some things because we learned a lot.
There was a huge... You know what? Let's not start the podcast now.
No, let's not do that.
We're actually going to end this podcast now before we get too fired up about this.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening. We are going to try and do better about this. We're trying to do at least one podcast a month. We kind of got behind us due to work and weather.
Yep.
But if you could go onto our YouTube, we did post the video of Dinosaur Valley State Park. I will be uploading a much shorter one. It's an 1.5-hour video with 30 minutes of camp. There's a full hour of us hiking. Yeah. So I'm going to try and get that edited down to where it's only 30 minutes of camp.
And there's a couple of shorts on there from it too.
Yeah, we did a bunch of shorts. I'm working on my boat, so I will be actually once I'm done with the trailer, because I just about done with the trailer. That's almost drove me insane. Once that's done, I will start doing more on the duck boat. Dad's got his boat up and running, so we might do a couple of short fishing trips.
Yeah, I'll probably post some clips as long as I can remember to put the camera in the boat.
Well, we'll go over that. I'll give you the login information for the YouTube, and you can just upload the shorts from your phone.
Okay. I've got a Mansfield canoe that I am rehabbing slowly, but I intend to have it done. We're probably not going to make the float trip this spring.
Yeah,
especially considering the weather.
It's starting to be a little rushed. This has been the wettest year so far. The wettest spring in 10 years, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they're every few days they're opening 1 or 2 gates on the rivers.
And we had a fairly wet fall and spring and winter.
Wet fall.
Yeah.
Winter. So, but So there may be a October float trip coming.
Uh,
If I get this thing finished and get the little outboard stuck on it.
I gotta be a little bit careful because I started my own business this year, so I'm being very conscientious, not just jumping the guns and stuff. But I am trying to do at least one thing a month. When Dad's canoe is done, we will do a comparison between my canoe and his canoe. I think I upload. No, I've never uploaded the video of my canoe. I need to sit down and edit. Oh wait, I just remembered why I can't because I deleted it all by accident.
But yeah, I mean, so we're going to do this. Both of us have good big float canoes. So, and I've wanted to do this, throttle back the idea of a 2-day to maybe the first one being a 1-day.
We are actually trying to plan on how to get to what we want. The tuna trip kind of opened our eyes on that. You can't just jump the gun and go, okay, let's do a 5-day canoe trip with no experience, period.
Well, we've done a couple, and I've done a lot more floating when I was younger.
I have not. I actually done one trip, that's it. But unfortunately, that's it for time. So we will go over this probably sometime this week. And Dad, got any parting advice?
No, shoot the coons.
All right. If y'all could go onto our YouTube 1584 Adventure, like and subscribe. We are also running our Patreon at the same handle, 1584 Adventure. If you could go and subscribe, our current tier, we only have one tier, and it's $5. You get extra videos, you get extra podcasts earlier. And that's it, guys.